Well, everyone, still to this day, one of the more interesting phones that I've ever seen that's still a little strange to me is the iPhone XS Max. Now, as some of you may know, the XS Max is one of those phones that came out back in 2018, and this was the biggest flagship that Apple made at that time, both figuratively and literally. This was the most expensive phone Apple ever made at $1,099, but this was also an iPhone that Apple made that had the biggest display of any iPhone at that moment. But here's the craziest thing. I still think in this day and age that this iPhone, flips from being a good priced iPhone that had a lot of capability to being this weird priced iPhone that I really wouldn't recommend anyone to buy. And I'm not really too sure how to fit this iPhone into a particular box as of this point. Now, the first way that I would look at this particular iPhone is that it's an older iPhone with, some capability. It's still supported with software, and the hardware of it, it still feels and performs decently well, which is pretty crazy. But beyond that, when I do look at this particular iPhone in this day and age, it kind of is stuck in these, couple of weird boxes. The first thing being, I would say the chipset and its processor is slightly more outdated than I would like for it to be if I'm recommending a phone to people. If I'm recommending a phone for people to buy in this day and age, I would probably recommend, buying a phone that still has somewhat of a future ahead of it. And considering we're about to get WWDC iOS 18 in less than a month, you might as well wait out until that version of software comes out and then go ahead and buy it. If you're using the XS Max, then that's different. But if you don't plan on, buying this phone as of this point and you plan on buying it in the future, well, iOS 18 is probably going to change your opinion on that, because if it's not getting iOS 18, I wouldn't recommend buying it. But another slight problem that I saw with this particular iPhone at that moment was also when it came down to basically, the performance and the battery life of this particular iPhone. The performance of this phone wasn't that bad, but the battery size of it was a little bit off-putting for me. And the reason for that was because this particular iPhone was essentially giving you a device that really wasn't giving you that great of a battery life. I feel like with the display, with the size of this phone and everything, you would have definitely gotten a way better device had you gotten one that was still giving you a little bit of a better battery life. And I do think because the iPhone 11 Pro Max was so much better of a device, that one made a lot more sense for me to recommend to people than something like the iPhone XS Max. So I feel like ever since the XS Max came out, there's been so many better phones that have came out since then, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to buy this phone. I think there are significantly better devices to buy than the iPhone XS Max, and that's why I think the iPhone XS Max is still kind of a strange phone when it kind of comes down to it. So that's kind of how I feel about it right now. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.